What's going on, Moon Gang? I hope that you're having a good one. I wanted to take this opportunity to put out a slightly different piece of content because I think within this community of AMC and GameStop diamond-handed hodlers, I'm sensing a bit of frustration, and I completely get it because it's that sense of there's a big financial and emotional investment into both of these stocks, and the big question is, where is this squeeze? Myself included, there's a lot of things going on social media of like AMC, GME, the squeeze is coming, the high short interest, all of this stuff. So I thought it would be helpful for the community if I could just throw in my 2 cents to kind of the things we should remember, where we've been, where we're going, and things of that nature. So just so you know of basis, I'm filming this video after the stock market closed on April 20th. As of now, AMC closed out the day at 928 and GME is trading at 158.53. Just so depending on when you're watching this, you have a good basis for when this video was actually created. So overall, I just want to say I completely get it. Like I said before, there is a massive amount of financial and emotional investment into both of these stocks. I mean, from the messages I get and just everything I'm seeing, like the messages on live stream, personal DMs, I get it. A lot of people have huge positions and for one reason or another, we all have our reasons for being in this. So I just wanted to cover a few things because I'm starting to get this sense of frustration of, hey man, I've been doing my best to be patient. I'm at my end. What else can I do? What's going on? I feel like I've been waiting forever, and that is completely fair. I hear you, and this is just my thoughts on this situation. As of now, as I'm filming this, I still have all of my AMC and GME shares and all of my AMC and GME calls. In fact, I end up just buying more calls, more shares on both of them, but I just want you to let you know that right now, I'm still in this. I still have my position. If anything, as time goes on, I'm continuing to add more, and I'll touch why I'm doing that in just a bit. But there's a couple things that I think to keep us mentally in the game of this situation that are very important to understand. And the first is always do your own due diligence. I'm putting this at the top of the list because I think it's that important. Whether it's and it's not that hard, like name a news source. It's very easy to find negative articles. Read it. Don't just fall for the headline. Read it, do your own due diligence, ask other people questions. There's now a massive community built for both of these stocks, and you can find someone that can give you a little bit more insight, whether it's me, some of the other people who are fighting the good fight. Like, you can find the information you need. It just takes a little bit of curiosity and discipline on your part to dive into it. And on the flip side of that, don't fall for confirmation bias. It's very easy to dive into like something that's super negative, pick it apart and prove how they're wrong. But on the flip side, I'm seeing a lot of people who see a headline that's overly positive and you're not doing the same level of due diligence. Whether it's good or bad, if your money is invested in either of these stocks, it really does. It's smart. It's like your own money on the line. It is smart to dive into it just to know the true situation. I fully believe from the bottom of my heart that for us to win this battle, we can't be falling for FUD on one side or confirmation bias on the other. It is very important to understand the data, the players, and understand the situation of what's going on. And I fully understand that this entire situation brought in a lot of new people. You might feel confused, don't really know what's going on. And trust me, this community is one of the most caring, helpful communities I truly believe on the internet. So if you have questions, feel free to ask, and you can probably get the answers you're after. That does lead into another thing that I'm seeing more of, and I don't think anyone's doing it maliciously. I think it's more of like we've been doing this, and we're just feeling like the time add up, the frustration add up. There's, I would argue, like unfortunately, an increase of the infighting with this community, and I once again, as I'm saying, like I don't have the data on this, but this is one of the perfect things that hedge funds would truly want. They would want us to like tear apart from the inside. Remember, many people within this community, we all want the same end goal. We all want GameStop and AMC to go absolutely sky high. And I think the arguments, we're getting caught up in like the minutia of it, of the date, are shares better, are stocks better, dilution, this or that. Like there's so many things. And like I think we're sitting around waiting for this to happen, and we end up nitpicking each other. And that's fine. I'm all for healthy discussion, but just remember, like the person you're talking to, there's a pretty good chance that they want that same end goal. So just remember that. Take that like a breather. Like, don't remember, apes don't fight apes. Like, and I know we're saying that more of like the meme of what's going on with this community, but remember, there's a good chance that the person you're talking to is actually on the side. And I would argue that you're probably arguing about a detail, and that's good. That's good, healthy discussion. But just remember of like the bigger picture of like who the people we truly are fighting against. And then that brings me into my third point of like, if you're just feeling completely emotionally and financially beaten down with AMC and GME, well, first of all, remember, I'm not a financial advisor. You should always do what's best or what you perceive best for your own financial health. But I think one thing that comforts me is remember why you got into this. So many stocks are running, many stocks are falling, making money, not making money, all that. And I think AMC and GME are just a little bit different. Yes, it is amazing to make money. We all have bills to pay. We all have things we want to do with money. I completely get that. But I still think the reason why I can diamond hand personally AMC and GME so much more is because I always remember why I got into it. To me, this was a once in a lifetime opportunity of when I could personally maybe make Wall Street pay. Like, we caught them in a short, maybe we could do that again, cause them like financially to hurt, maybe make our own social stand in doing so. So with that, like, I would say, remember why you got into it. Since then, I got into it for that, just because I was like, hey, I want to be a part of this social movement. It was very, very important to me. And then since then, I think I've even been more emboldened because of the people I've met through this community, the live streams, the Twitter, the normal videos, the community that has come out of this, the amazing people I've met, the amazing people I've talked to. It's been awesome. And because of that, like, it keeps me invigorated to keep going. The days I'm very excited, awesome. It's always easy to have a good day when you're having a good day, if you know what I mean. But on the days that I'm like, man, like, what's going on? It just doesn't feel right. There's someone else out there that, like, we all have our emotional battles going on, but the strength within this community, the absolute passion, that would be my number one argument for the still chance of an AMC and GME. No matter who you talk to, no one can predict if a squeeze will or won't happen. We can't predict when. We can't predict the stock price. No one can do that type of thing. All I can do is show you the data, which I'm about to do. We're going to dive into the current short interest, which is sky high for both AMC and GME. I could show you the data that, yes, we are mathematically at where we need to be for these stocks to go sky high. But in the end, it is a big bout with human psychology of, are we going to get that follow through? And because of that, yes, this is a product of the stock market. But for these to squeeze, it's much more of a psychological thing of the battle between us versus them, the 99 versus the 1. And because of that, I think it truly is unpredictable. Remember, high short interest numbers in no way guarantee a short squeeze. We're just going to be sitting around to see if there's enough people who join this fight and stay in this fight that we can make the hedge funds pay. That's all it is. It's patience. And for me, I'm still in it because I trust in all of you. It's as simple as that. So that's just my 2 cents on this. Remember why you got into it. Remember, apes don't fight apes. And if your money is involved in this, whether it's very good news, whether it's very bad news, or it's just completely neutral news, do your own due diligence. It is definitely worth it to understand what's going on in this entire world. And because of that, that's actually at that last part. One thing I did want to talk about is, like, once in a while you're going to hear these arguments of like, oh, these things are completely fundamentally overvalued. Well, remember, for the longest time, they said that about Microsoft, Apple, Bitcoin, just to name a few. And even if, like, there is a decent argument that AMC and GME are fundamentally overvalued, but there's also decent arguments right here. This was just posted yesterday that AMC actually is undervalued fundamentally. And this is from Mark. I will post this in the description below just so you can read it. But based on a free cash flow model and also a price to sales model, the average between those, he came up with $13.84. Like I said, we're trading in the nines right now. So even right that, like, depending on the due diligence you're doing in the research, you got to hear both sides. But I'm hearing interesting arguments both ways for both of these stocks. So I'll post this. Feel free to read it. It is good information. So in terms of short interest, let's kick it off with AMC. So at the end of today's trading action, the short interest did increase slightly. There was an extra 62,000 shares that were borrowed that could potentially be shorted. To start today off, we saw the highest numbers we've seen. The shares on loan, which remember the free float are the shares that you and I can trade, which is 400 million. The shares on loan, which means the shares that could theoretically be shorted. This isn't counting naked shorted, so if anything, these numbers would be higher. But we're looking at a floor of at least over 150 million. The utilization, as in the ratio of shares that are on loan that could be lent, we're up to 99.93%. 100% is the max value, and as of now, the estimated short interest is over 23%. A couple of people have been asking me about the cost to borrow. As you can see from this purple line here, the cost to borrow for AMC is skyrocketing. To start today off, we were at 25%. There's a good chance it's even higher now, and that just shows that it's becoming a hard to borrow stock because there's that many people shorting it. So this comes back to the argument of like the pieces of the puzzle are in place that we need. We just need that one little final domino, which is the bullish buying to capture all these hedge funds betting against it. Because if the stock starts to trend upward more than it has been, then there's going to be a lot of hedge funds that are in a serious amount of pain. So that's what's going on with AMC. Yesterday, we saw a massive jump in the short interest in GameStop, and we saw a continuation of that today. The current short interest is 28.8%. The borrowed shares just under 1 million, and the borrowed change was 600,000. So right now, the shares on loan is probably around 15.5 million. Remember, the free float for GameStop is around 45 million. The utilization is considerably lower than AMC, 55%. So there is quite a bit more room for the short interest to continue to run. And for those of you interested, I think this is just like a good relative thing. The cost to borrow right now on GME is 1.65%. That was the average as of yesterday. And that's obviously a stark contrast to the sky high number of AMC, which is around 25%. So that just shows how hard to borrow at this moment in time AMC truly is. So I just wanted to share these most up-to-date short interest numbers for both AMC and GameStop and kind of share my thoughts on like, I get it. There's a huge amount of frustration with AMC and GME. It feels like a lot of us have been waiting around for quite a while. But for me, I am in no way ready to throw in the towel yet. But for you, you have to make your own decision. And just remember, this community is one of the strongest, supportive, and strongest fighting communities out there. And I'm more than happy to be a part of it. If you enjoyed this video, it would be much appreciated if you could drop a like and leave a comment. It does help me out with the YouTube algorithm. And if you want to be an official member of the Moon Gang, all you have to do is hit that subscribe button. If you don't want to miss any update videos like this or any of the Monday to Friday live streams where we talk about AMC, GameStop, Dogecoin, SPY, basically everything going on in the markets, go over to that bell icon, click on it, and switch it to always. Until I catch you next time, from me and Duckshirt, best of luck in the markets.